Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here for the 37th episode of Cultist Simulator, playing the Bright Young Thing Legacy. I wanted to take a quick minute here from the title screen. Two reasons. Number one, I had to do a bit of an adjustment to my recording setup, and this might mean some changes in terms of the overall volume levels, also in terms of the quality of the video. I also noticed that there were a couple of things on YouTube. Some people were mentioning that the videos were going down to something like 380 horizontal lines of resolution. Now that doesn't seem to happen to Cultist Simulator, but they do seem to be released at something less than 1440, which is what I'm putting them out at. So if you happen to notice that, please let me know. But number two, if there's anything that's getting in the way of you enjoying those videos, I'm just at a point again where it might be there might be something that's kind of getting in the way between what I think I'm recording and what is being realized in terms of the video. One other reason why I wanted to talk about the main title was I'm sure a number of you who play this game have noticed that there's little bits of sometimes advertising on the right-hand side here. Now I say sometimes advertising because there are things that are not necessarily tied to a particular product. And this is one of them, and I'm actually not going to follow this any further, but if you happen to bring this up, or if you happen to see this, I recommend clicking on it and seeing what happens. Some of you may be interested in what this shows, and I will leave that mystery for the rest of you as time goes by. Anyways, we're going to jump into the game, and I'm going to check a quick thing on the recording to make sure that I'm not completely blowing it. Okay. Now that's interesting that the video went away like that. Okay, sorry about that. 2 minutes in, we do need to make some progress. So, where were we? Let's take a quick look at what we're up against. So time is passing. We've got a season of ambitions coming up, which will give us a restlessness, which we could probably paint away. Although I have staleness that I need to get rid of first. We are finishing off an expedition now. We are currently being investigated by Wakefield, which means we know that there's going to be evidence that we need to get rid of. We are getting vitality. Right, and this is because I'm currently healing. We already got the vitality, so it wasn't necessary to study. And we're repairing the Wildering Mirror in preparation for using the talk verb to destroy evidence. Do I have a Callagine in the group? I do not, so I may want to try summoning one. Okay, so in terms of short-term goals, we want to try and get through more of the texts. I also can bring people up to Seers, I believe. I may need to play around with a couple of details, but that might be something that I want to try before too long. Actually, so we've got 16. That brings us up to 21. I can't remember if that's enough or not. We'll figure it out as time goes by. Clearly there are other priorities I need to handle anyway, but it's nice to get a bit of an idea in terms of where this is all going. Expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. So we have the money, and we have the lantern to get by. I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. So we'll deal with that as soon as we can, but I don't have... Oh, sorry, there's the Callagine right now. Not all the Forge's children are bright. Its offcuts and bastards gather in the bounds like hammerscale in the cracks of smithy floor. Here comes one now. So I'll have to... actually, I could probably bring the Callagine in on the expedition. We'll lose a little bit of time, but not too much. Let's grab the passion for the painting. And I can do I think we'll actually do a painting with the influence. So we'll use the rising heat. I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. Now we need to translate and read all of the books, so it's going to take us a little while to get through all of it, but I don't have a... well, actually there's a small priority for the lantern one, I suppose. We'll do it in order, though. On the Serenity of the Black Wood, an allegorical history of the House of Leith, who is here implied, were inspired by the centipede. Serrano Blackwood is an occult alias to this day. So we'll first translate it from Greek. Unlock the study door, the work begins. Again, the reason for putting the Callagine in on the expedition is not that I think it's going to do something useful, it's more to preserve it, because we know we at least have a minute while the mirror gets repaired. The sick room grows close and stale, time to get up. So I want to think a little bit about what I want to use the dream slot for. We're not going to pay for paints because we're trying to get rid of staleness, so for the dream, I think we can go to the spider door. Time alone in a quiet room with a living mind. That's all I need. And my follower needs a bronze spintra or better to complete their task. Well, we've got plenty of those. We haven't been doing commissions that much, but that'll hopefully change once we get the painting done. Faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. And I've drunk the light from their mind. It thrills and fills me. The marks brighten in me. Alright, my recent work has drawn some attention. Something should sell, so we did get a little bit of money for that, which is nice. We are short on cash, but we should be able to see an expedition through as long as I'm careful. I did get a fascination for it. We can get rid of that by dreaming with a fleeting reminiscence. However, it is a season of despair coming up, so I may be able to get rid of the fascination through other means. Let's go for the reputation-based painting because I do need the money. Also, we're going to be losing some notoriety. I'll get some from the expedition. I suppose the question is, do I want to have any more on the table? I could do that with some of the lore. Yeah, you know what? Let's get another one just in case. So we'll do a heart painting just because it'll help me with the... it'll potentially generate a vitality. Those who know will understand, as will the Suppression Bureau. The mirror is repaired. It shines again as it did once before. Okay, I'm going to take a quick second here to see if we can improve my lantern followers. So if we add Clifton, and we add a Fenian Invocation, we need 21st intensity, so... oh, what am I doing? Door in the eye. Attempt to exalt a disciple to a seer. Pope Clifton. Clifton's devotions have grown complex. His eyes have grown wide and shining. His voice has become even louder. Only a rare few, those most suited to service in our mysteries, may achieve this rank. And I've prepared the text for study, The Serenity of the Black Wood, an allegorical history of the House of Leith, who, it is here implied, were inspired by the centipede. Serrano Blackwood is an occult alias to this day. That's the same text as before. The proverbial footloose gathers travelers in a wood and leads them through, but abandons them part way. They find themselves beset by glorious monsters. And Season of Vision's coming up, so I do need to get rid of the fascination next. I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic paints. We will spend the money. And let's go back to the Mallory, I think. An incandescence, change follows fire. Last night in the Mansis, I visited the Mallory, from whose engines and avenues one does not emerge unchanged. I watched the process of sunset, and I entered the amber joy and the white joy and the blue joy, and I was subjected to the enlightenments of calcination, and the forge of days touched me with her burnished fingers, and I rise from my bed with the utter knowledge that all nights, all nights, all nights must end. Now, I'm lucky that we have this fleeting reminiscence here, so we are going to annihilate it right away. I'm probably going to need to try and grab someone for the Season of Ambitions. Oh, we Add the money for the Colors of the Night. Honestly, I'm only going through the motions. The quality of my work will no doubt suffer. There's nothing to be ashamed of here. My recent work is celebrated. My name is known and my work has done well. So that's 6 funds, and we didn't seem to generate a staleness out of that, so I'm pretty happy. I think I am going to take advantage of the 1.7 notoriety again. That's just so that can get so it can tick down for a little bit longer. Let's also bring some order back to the mystique. Okay, let's start with the painting. I don't need to try and I don't need to sort of boost my reputation as someone mad, bad, and dangerous to know. So we will. I think I'll do a portrait of Leo this time. I'll take the Wildering Mirror. I don't think we read the description for that. So, a multiplicity of vistas, a bewilderment of views. Gaze upon me and rejoice in the dissolution of your senses. And we have beneath the stone, the moonlight bleaches the grass to winter. All around the stone's loom. Here in the tumulus beside the turf is a stone that will rise like a trap door. We must put our backs into it. And I don't remember if I read this before, but only a rare few, those most suited to service in our mysteries, may achieve this rank. So we'll do that once more with Slee, and then maybe we'll try to get rid of the tentative evidence. I should be getting rid of that sooner, to be honest, but if the if we have the opportunity to go a little bit further, I want to take it. I pledge myself to light the way for the willing and for the unwilling. I pledge myself to navigate. I pledge myself to illuminate. I pledge myself against mercy. I will walk the path that is shown, no matter the price. So Clifton is seer. Clifton still recites his prayers, but they are grown strange as old mirrors. He rises every morning to greet the dawn. He looks it full in the face and tells you exactly what he sees. So let's think about, in terms of talk, I can try and abduct someone. I can try and bring Slee up. So we don't need to bring Slee into the cult as a seer yet. That can kind of get done at any point. But we may have a season of ambitions come up, and we wouldn't really have a protection from the consequences. So we are going to have a chat with Saliba first. A sufficiently persuasive disciple can probably lure a susceptible companion back to us. And the serenity of the Blackwood. The travelers discover that they can survive if they close their eyes. They adopt a closed eye as their sign. And they can go unnoticed if they drink from the clear, cold streams. They never forget that proverbial footloose centipede, but they never forgive her either. So I wound up with fascination anyway. The good news is we will get a fleeting reminiscence from this season of despair. So it's not the end of the world, but obviously not my favorite outcome. And we have a 3rd centipede testament now. We will start to upgrade these once I finish with my books, but there's really no point in going too far with the books there's really no point in going too far with the lore until we finish the books, because the books are the fastest way to get new lore. The irreproachable traditions of the Society of Noble Endeavor, and that's a Latin text to be translated. At the study door, the work begins. And here again, we'll pay for the paints, and hopefully generate a bunch of cash for us, and we'll just let the fleeting reminiscence do its usual thing. The chamber inside the tumulus was half collapsed with the years. Fat white spiders crawl from the torch of our lamplight, insolently slow. The stone reliefs are cracked and dripping, but here is the offering hole still, with its treasures. So more lethe, we've got a piebald pigment, we've got more rose pearl dust. We've also got everyone who went on the expedition and our notoriety. So I was going to debate about going on another expedition based on the money that we have, but in this case here, I think it makes sense for us to head out. Now, I'm probably going to keep the Callagine around because we do eventually need to destroy the evidence. So let's go to Tower Revok, the blasted stump of a building. The air festers, whatever power destroyed this place still clings. Only one floor remains above ground, but we suspect more space below. So we'll add the money right away. Definitely bringing the percussagant. We will have to search assiduously to find whatever treasures might remain, and if the tower was truly destroyed by a battle between adepts, dangerous influences may still cling to it. So I think probably this means we'll need Lantern as well. So we'll bring Clifton along. We'll bring Cat Carol, actually. The air is curdled now. I'm home again in this lump in flesh. Better, perhaps. Now, dream-wise, we don't really have anything to feed the spider's door. The question then would be, do I want to go through the stag door for any reason? And I don't think we need much in terms of summonings or anything else that we can get through the stag door, so I think we're going to leave the dream slot for now. I will sometimes change it, but in this case, I don't quite see the value in pursuit. This is work I can be proud of. With enough publicity, it will sell. So another 6 funds and still no staleness. So my recent work is celebrated, my name is known, and my work is done well. This time around, let's try and preserve the vitality for a bit. Excuse me. Again, this should have an impact, and we just keep everything else going. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I could add funds now, or I could send another follower. So, heart or grail in this case. We might as well add Leo because of the extra heart. And we don't need any more money, so we'll just let that run by on its usual path. The irreproachable traditions of the Society of Noble Endeavor. The members of the Society of Noble Endeavor adopted noble names as at their initiation. Parsifal, Roland, Oysen. They drew their inspiration from the leashed flame, which gave the island of Britain such appalling power in some histories. One Samuel Partridge has chronicled their efforts. Their endeavor was no less noble, a furious arcane conflagration which would refine them into something more than human, but such transformations are rare, and they often ended less nobly in ashes. It does feel like the game might be overwhelming me a little bit, so if that is the case, please let me know. I know there will be 4 videos this week that are all kind of recorded at this level, but I can at least correct for next week. Okay, so we do have a season of sickness coming up. In fact, at that point, let's take a second and go to the wood. Now I pass between scar-barked trees, the moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Now one reason why I did that was because we had the Season of Visions, but in this case it's not as big of a deal just because the Season of Visions is going away because of the fleeting reminiscence now. So my recent work has accrued modest fame. My paintings have reviewed well. Now in this case here, this is less of a problem because we still don't have the staleness. We didn't get as much money, but all that we're really doing right now is generating a bunch of mystique. I don't think I want to try the vitality again. Maybe let's try and provoke another course of the heart. So we'll keep adding notoriety. Something to remember them by, perhaps. And we'll almost certainly find this hidden door. My minion has returned, attended by a prisoner rendered docile with delight. Someone has fallen into your clutches. They won't survive forever. Although, not necessarily true anymore. I don't know if there's an expiry anymore, but it's not obvious if there is. Okay, I do need to deal with the evidence, so this is why we got the Callagine. They've sort of been expiring for the last little while. Paint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shutter and a shower of dust. And I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. As usual, we're going to take advantage of the reputation and the opportunity to earn money with it. Partridge claims to have identified consistent features among those who ascended. All of them had passed the stag door and were accounted no. All of them spoke the Khalidate invocation, or a greater rite at the start of their ascension, and all of them were rich. So it's been a while since you've seen one of these. An ardent orison. When we watch a fire, what are we watching for? When we find it, these are the words it will speak, a word that sanctifies the change that comes when the seared skin peels. On to the Book of True Blood, a work by Cassius the Toman. On the study door, the work begins. There's nothing to be ashamed of here, so fewer draws this time, it looks like. And we got a lot of staleness off of that, so my recent work has accrued modest fame. My paintings have reviewed well. So, a couple of funds. Nothing to complain about there. So at this point we're going to do the Passion painting first. This is just so that we can get a head start on the Passion. And then finally we are going to add... I don't really need to do any more hearts, so we are going to add Clovet again. That time I'm a little less surprised because I didn't actually fully put everything into the slot. Every sense is heightened, every sensation deepened. The well in the wood is never dry, but it is never clear. One night it might heave with crawling roots, on another it will pulse with bright moss. On the nights of the full moon its waters are choked with the fat dappled bodies of moths. Last night I saw it brimming with dark and viscous blood. Gelatinous shreds drifted on its surface, plots of grail matter. In my dreams I know the path to the White Door, through the bounds, but that path is thronged with the dead who pass that way. I will need health to resist their chill. Now I approach the White Door through the bounds. Now I can press my fingers to it, feel its chill, watch it swing open. As it opens, my mouth closes, tightens, heals over like a lost deformity. Around and about me is the cobalt light of the Mansis. So we won't spend money on the paints, this is just about getting rid of the staleness at this point. And my minion is returned, and they have failed. Their blundering may have attracted attention, so not good for us. What I'm going to do here is send one of the moth followers to deal with this now. My scheme will most likely succeed. There is always a chance that something will go awry. And we are almost certainly strong enough in heart to be secure against the curse. The world goes away. Okay, Season of Ambition's coming up, so it's good that we've got the prisoner, and we now have the sickness, so I want that vitality. Cassius the Tomman reveals the deeds of the Unnumbered Legion, the secret army that protected Rome against the Shadowless Empire. The Legion's legate answered directly to the hour called the Tribune of Scars, and was promised immortality if he died in battle. And then for our painting, my recent work has attracted a couple of callers. With luck, something will sell. So we've got some mystique, we also got some money out of that, which is nice. No vitality, and we'll just kind of let this run for a while. So I think probably the answer at this point is to do some commissions. So we'll start with the Grail one. We'll take a Passion and a Reason. I'm not too worried about using a Passion in this because we'd still be waiting the 55 seconds for the full stack of Passion, so that's not too much of a worry. I was trying to think if there's something else that I can do with the work slot, but not really. I think commissions are probably the done thing at this point. And let's see what the Orchard of Lights brings. Pulsing in, so that with enough time would give us what we need for the affliction, but we have less than 3 minutes, so I may want to try something else. We may go back. I guess I can't go back to the I can't go back to the wood right away. Where else would I go then? Maybe just back to the white door and hope that we get a heart. The hours have been called unmerciful, but they permit sleepers sometimes to walk in the orchard of lights, where each fruit glows like a sunset, where the roots of the trees are shaped for peaceful rest, where the mist soothes the heart. I was there last night, and the taste of the fruit lingers, sharp and sweet as the passage of spring to summer. So we'll see if this expires in time, but I don't want to count on it. So we are going to go back to the white door. And again, this is more about just doing something that triggers health. I think next we'll get Saliba or Rhaenyra to grab a new visitor. Our power was stronger than the power that was here. The curse won't touch us. My minion has returned, stumbling, mumbly, clumsily bandaged. They were caught in the coils of their own plan. So let's get Yzabet healed up. Passion or convenience? Wakefield's gonna have a field day with this if we don't get the evidence taken care of. Well, there's the season of suspicion. Finished the manuscripts. So we may not turn that in for a while. I do have the 4 passion now, so we're going to work on the reputation right away. We do still want to try and provoke an event with health, so we'll do the Portrait of Dorothy and the Book of True Blood. In the final part, Cassius confesses to being a former legate. He recounts his terror of the Tribune and divulges the secret lore of the Golden General, the champion of the Shadowless Empire, the enemy of the Tribune, in the hope that the Tribune will someday be undone. So we got some dread for that. Now, we're not in the middle of a season of visions, or we don't have the fascination, so that's not quite the same. That isn't quite the same need. But we do have some better lore. So the Lionsmith's names. The Lionsmith is young by the standards of the hours, but old by the standards of war. His names are recent recruits, and their recitation has a savage power. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do about the dread at the moment. Again, we've got the season of suspicion to worry about first. We will do the high mysteries of the innermost chamber of our church solar, secret rites of the Church of the Unconquered Sun, which held power in at least 2 histories. And by then we should have the books. So a long-delayed conclusion. Beneath the tower is a cramped cellar with cracked slate walls. The proportions, it should be a perfect cube, but somehow there are too many corners. Blue light festers at the junction of the ceiling and the wall. The floor flexes slowly, like the skin of a bubble. It echoes to a stamped foot. What space is open beneath? Last night, I walked in the Orchard of Lights. I plucked the fruit, which is always ripe, and consumed it in 2 bites. The taste is not to be forgotten. As I licked the glowing juices from my fingers, I saw a message carved in the bark of the tree. When I woke, I recorded that message, all I could remember in my diary. So we don't have the passion to go to the wood yet, so we're going to go back to the white door. Again, this is partly just an effort to trigger the heart event, although it does look like the trembling airs will turn into vitality in time. And then we're going to get a moth follower to go take out the evidence again. Bundle the books into a sack. Hurry up the handholds to the tower stump. The sky above ripples with cobalt aurora. The hills around are washed with shutters of blue light. There is a high and singing sound from the stones of the tower as we leave. Lightning cracks from the sky, and suddenly everything is silent. The tower stump is gone. So I have the Twin Serpent Tantra. If I recall correctly, I think this one provokes a dread, so I might want to be a bit careful there. We've got bitter black salt. No ordinary chemist could produce these dark gleaming crystals, not without the touch of the forge. Now this will help us get a forge painting. Obviously, we've held off on making the special paintings for other opportunities, but we may be at a point where I can take advantage of this. Now, if I was worried about dread from the Twin Serpent Tantra, definitely how the end will begin is one that I want to be wary of. However, that is in Vax, so we can't quite read that. And finally, the Furious Tantra. So moving on, I don't see any reason, to hold off going on more expeditions. So we're going to move to Grunwald's permanent circus. A tiny city of patched tents around a whitewashed farm. Hunched performers shiver in the dripping rain. Frau Grunwald has devoted her considerable fortune to the maintenance of this institution. Who knows why? The circus performers dislike trespassers behind the scenes. So we always bring the percussagant just because it's going to be something we want to preserve. And in this case, deceiving the circus performers seems like a good idea. So we'll bring Sylvia along. Finally, we will add a bit of money. The circus folk will be ready to take up arms against us, and the power in the circus, we fear, may be worm-touched. So that's something that maybe the percussagant will help out with, but we will find that out later. As indeed we'll find out about the rest of the material, because we are at half an hour today. Again, I hope the audio was okay, and again, I apologize for the fact that I'm not really going to be able to find out about this until the future when, after a few more episodes have gone by. On that note, I believe this will be coming out on Boxing Day, which is very Canadian of me, I know, but some of you will know what that means. But overall, there won't be another video on Tuesday. Again, that's usually a day off, or a day for another video. But this will be back on Wednesday for another episode of Cultist Simulator. I hope you all had some wonderful time off. At least if you carry my work schedule, you'll have at least 2 more days while you're watching this. So please, I hope you enjoyed the holidays. I hope you enjoy your time off, and we'll be back Wednesday for some more Cultist Simulator. Take care until then.